I've... Oh, it's still loading. What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday. It is May the 2nd. We're 2 days away from May the 4th. Be with you all. Hope you all have been sheltering in place, nice and safe, following the government mandated lockdown on your life because it's good for your health. But seriously, I hope you guys are staying safe. You've had a fantastic last week of April. So ready for May. I am so ready for May. I'm so ready for June and hopefully July to come to us as quick as possible because we've got some movie releases. From some of the biggest names in Hollywood, some of the biggest producers, most notably Christopher Nolan, which we'll be covering in the broadcast today, guys. So first and foremost, for this broadcast, I want to thank all of you here. I know Mr. Paul in Long Beach, one of the imagination connoisseurs from Robert Meyer Burnett's channel, the Burnett Work, is in the chat. So what's up, man? So glad to have you here. We've got 10 topics today to cover. I'm really excited to talk about them. I'm going to try to keep it, of course, as far away from COVID as possible. I know I saw a storm shadow in the house earlier this morning. So what's up, brother? Thank you for tuning in here. And I know we've got our fantastic moderator, digital nomad sage. He's in here. Give him a fantastic, nice little hello, how you doing? And check out his page on YouTube. And also, if you can find his website from his YouTube page, he's got fantastic articles on how to be a digital nomad, a remote worker, which is more relevant than ever in this time when we're all locked down, some of us, without a job. So check out his page, check out his website for some fantastic insight. And of course, what would this broadcast be without our fantastic content producer, Miss Tiffany Washington? She's here in the chat, guys. Give her a nice little hello. And you know what? If you do that, if you say hello to Tiffany, you say hello to Digital Nomad Sage, I'm going to give you one of these. It's a pretty awesome MAGA hat. Oh, sorry, white power hat. But you know what? It fits nice. It feels good. I feel like I feel whiter wearing this here. So, if you guys want this, hit me up at dj@moviepop.org. I don't know if you can see it, but it's really fantastic quality. We've got Jin. We've got my bro, Jin Tokunaga, up in this hizzle. We've got Jordy Lyons from the United Kingdom himself. He is our official. He actually works in the film industry, and he holds my feet to the fire. Tells me what I'm saying is right, what I'm saying is wrong, and also giving us all fantastic insight here on the channel in regards to film industry news from an official source, and he's also a moderator on Robert Meyer Burnett's channel. So thank you, Jordy, for being here. Guys, I'm going to monitor the live chat here. We've got AW in the house. That's Akeem. He's somebody. I don't know if he wants to be known who he is, but AW, thank you for being here, brother. Good day, sir. So yeah, guys, remember the white power hat is on sale for free $99. All you have to do is hit me up at dj@moviepop.org. So yeah, enough said there, guys. While we're on the subject, let me know if the audio levels here is good. If it's too loud, too soft. Trying something a little different here today, guys. And while we're on the subject, make sure to send me your letters, viewer letters, or your topic of the week, one or the other, or both. And you can do both by sending it to dj@moviepop.org, and I'll be happy to read it on the broadcast. We've already had 2 submissions. Unfortunately, this week we do not have one, so I have to remind you once and twice, maybe thrice. So yeah, guys, send me some of those letters to my email address. Topic of the weeks and viewer letters. So guys, without further ado, thank you, Akeem, for letting me know that the audio sounds good and I smell good. That's good to know. Without further ado, guys, we're going to move on into our first topic of the week. And this one is going to be coming to us from the fantastic people at Deadline. So guys, I know Campia has covered this ad infinitum. Robert Meyer Burnett has covered this ad infinitum as well. But if you haven't heard already, well, here's the skinny on what's been going down this week. Really big news, because this is coming to us from AMC. And AMC is telling Universal Studios, one of the largest movie production companies in the world, that it will not license the studio's movies after some of the CEO statements regarding Trolls World Tour, and also some of their movie content plans for video on demand releases through the pandemic, and also perhaps afterwards. So if you haven't heard, Trolls World Tour, of course, was released on video on demand with AMC. That was a talk between the two studio magnates, or two movies, one exhibitionist, one studio property. But then Jeff Shell, who is the CEO of NBC Universal, said, you know what, I think we kind of like the taste of getting this money directly in our pockets without having the exhibitors take some of the cost, or some of the profits away. So let's follow and see what Deadline has to report regarding this. I have a lot of clarifying points. I actually do want to talk about this because I was kind of confused, guys. If you've watched Campia talk about this subject, and you've watched Midnight Edge's reports on the subject matter, Campia is saying one thing, Midnight Edge is saying another thing, and I'm reading the actual press releases. I'm seeing what both pundits are saying, and I think they have a little bit of differing opinions. I'm going to try to do my best to clarify what I think the truth is. And yeah, let's just get into the article first. We'll follow up on that. So let's go over yonder. AMC boss Adam Aron just fired off a letter to Universal Studios chairman Donna Lawley in a response to NBC Universal CEO's Jeff Shell's statements in the Wall Street Journal this morning about the $95 million paid video on demand success of Trolls World Tour. Are you guys do you want some trolls in your life? Because I didn't even know this movie existed before the press releases. I didn't know the first movie existed, but apparently it's a hit. Thanks, COVID. So as Aaron explains, and that's Adam Aron of AMC Theaters, he's the CEO, to Langley in this letter, theaters were closed, and the decision to take Trolls World Tour in the homes was an exception. But Shell's words, and that's Jeff Shell, right, from NBC, in the Wall Street Journal this morning, said something that has really stoked the ire. As soon as theaters reopen, we expect to release movies on both formats. Now, this is coming from NBC's Universal CEO, Jeff Shell. They want to release, this is what he's saying. All right, this is the press release. I tried to find the official press release, but I think this was actually from a Wall Street Journal article that referenced a statement call amongst investors. So I couldn't find any official statements outside of the Wall Street Journal article. And of course, this Deadline article I'm reading here. So what he's saying is, as soon as theaters open, we at Universal, we're going to release films not only in theaters, we're going to release it online because we had such big success with Trolls World Tour. Now, going forward, this is what Adam Aron said in response. Going forward, AMC will not license any Universal movies in any of our 1,000 theaters globally on these terms. This is big news because I don't know if you know, but AMC not only has theaters here in the United States, also United Kingdom, and also, oddly enough, Saudi Arabia. So, go figure. So I know Campia and Robert and, of course, other pundits online have covered this in great depth. So I'm not going to bother you with any of the finite details, but what I really wanted to cover here was some of the things I noticed Campia said. And correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat, guys, because I will get to your questions, to your statements. You can do so by highlighting my name in the chat. You submit your statement, your question, by typing first at MoviePOP. That way I'll see my name highlighted here. I'll know to read it on screen and comment on it. So correct me if I'm wrong, guys. Let me know. But it seems to me that Campia said, well, you know, Universal is not going to AMC is not going to ban all Universal films outright. They're just going to ban the films that Universal releases on VOD, video on demand, with a simultaneous theatrical release. And then I'm listening to Midnight Edge and other pundits read what I'm reading regarding these statements, and it seems to me that AMC was pretty definitive about saying, no, we're putting a flat-out ban on all Universal Pictures films. So think about like Fast and the Furious, right? That's a Universal distributed film. Jurassic World. I mean, these are big box office blockbusters. So for AMC to say flat out, right, you know what? If you release anything through video on demand, especially without consulting us first, we're just going to flat out ban all of your films. So I did some digging, guys. I wanted to get to the truth of this, and I actually went to the AMC website here. As you can see, I read the press release myself, and I wanted to bring it to your attention, just in case Campia or Rob or anyone else has not done that. And there's actually some fun facts in here as well, but I'm going to get to the highlighted part here. So here is the press release from Adam Aron, CEO of AMC Theaters, and he says, for 100 years, AMC Theaters have served as a strategically critical and highly profitable distribution platform for movie makers, and for all that time, the exclusivity of theatrical release has been fundamental. When a movie is, quote, only in theaters, unquote, consumers perceive it to be of a higher quality entertainment. Now, I don't know about you, and I hate to admit this, but I think that really is the case. Not to say that, a video on demand or a Netflix film or, some other released format movie is inherently of lower quality by default. But I think, how do I phrase this? I think we all know what we see, what we get when we watch a film on Netflix, right? It's usually second tier, second rate. So he's not wrong about that statement. He does continue to say, for much of the past 4.5 years, I have been in direct dialogue with Jeff Shell, that's the CEO of NBC Universal, and Peter Levinson of Universal about the importance of a robust theatrical window to the viability of the motion picture exhibition industry. Universal stated, it only pursued a direct-to-home entertainment release for Trolls World Tour because theaters were closed and Universal was committed to a lucrative toy licensing deal. That's a fun fact I was mentioning. I had not heard that anywhere else, so that was one of Universal's argument. The toy licensing deal. We had our doubts. That's big news, too. We had our doubts about what Universal was saying regarding the toy licensing deal? Okay, but he continues. We had our doubts that this was wholly Universal's motivations, as it has been a long-standing desire by Universal to go to the home day and date. Nonetheless, we accepted this action as an exception to our long-standing business practices in these unprecedented times. Jeff Shell is quoted as responding, the results for Trolls World Tour have exceeded our expectations and demonstrated the viability of PVOD, that's paid video on demand, and Mr. Shell said, as soon as theaters reopen, we expect to release movies on both formats. So again, confirming what I said earlier. In the press statement, it does continue to respond. Going forward, this is the biggest part I took from this, and I think this unequivocally settles the issue between Campia and Midnight's Edge, and correct me again if I'm wrong. Going forward, AMC will not license any Universal movies in any of our 1,000 theaters globally on these terms. Therefore, effectively, immediately, AMC will no longer play any Universal movies in any of our theaters in the United States, Europe, or the Middle East. That's so weird, but okay. I'm sure those movies are heavily edited in the Middle East, but anyhow. The policy affects any and all Universal movies per se, goes into effect today, and as our theaters reopen and this is not some hollow or ill-considered threat. Incidentally, this policy is not aimed solely at Universal out of pique, or to be punitive in any way. It also extends to any movie maker who unilaterally abandons current windowing practices absent good faith negotiations between us. Sincerely, Adam Aron. I love you, CEO and president of AMC Theaters Entertainment. So yeah, guys, I think that's one of the things I wanted to clarify on this big topic here. NATO does have a response as well, and there's press release statement, which I have uploaded to my website. You can check it out via links on Twitter at Real MoviePop, also on Instagram at MoviePop Official, which will give you a link to this main page at moviepop.org with the official press release from NATO, not the North Atlantic Treaty organization, but the North American Theater Organization, regarding their response to this, which I will kind of try to cover in summary here. And I know I've been talking a lot, guys. I'm going to go to your questions shortly. But, I mean, they just kind of mirror my thoughts on this. NATO says, basically, consumer behavior over the last decade and a half shows that transactional video is in secular decline. Sales and rentals of individual titles to the home were $24.9 billion in 2004. That's before we had the streaming content providers like Netflix, Amazon Prime, yada, 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 and shrank 62% to $9.3 billion in 2019. So, obviously, because most people can access films on demand online through Netflix and other providers, of course, naturally, you would see an outright purchase of these films decline in the over 17 years? Check my math. 15 years since 2004. This does continue to say, this demonstrates that consumers are more price sensitive when considering at-home entertainment during normal times. Duh. I mean, I don't know who this Jeff Shell guy is. I know he was tested positive for COVID recently, so obviously it's affecting his brain, because it seems to me, as a nobody, I'm not a CEO of some large multimedia conglomerate, but it seems to me, obviously, you're going to have a higher influx of customers watching your shitty films online because they're locked down at home. Don't extrapolate that that whole thought process or that profit margin into normal times. So NATO does reference this as well. So that's some of the biggest news this week, guys. I wanted to open up here with a broadcast on that. So let's turn to your thoughts. Let's talk about this some more. See if you have to correct me. I'm going to look in the live chat here. Well, all right. So we got Paul and Long Beach here. He's saying, cheers. Back at us, DJ. Dude, cheers, Paul. Thank you so much for being here, man. Seriously, man. Awesome. Awesome to have all of you guys here tuning in right now. Jordy Lines does have a little something to say to me here. He says, did you get my Gangs of London review in your DMs? No. Jordy? You know what? Jordy, yes, I did. I did get your message, and unfortunately I did not open it because so many Twitter notifications. I didn't know it was a viewer letter. Because you know what I said, Jordy? I said, send me your letter, your topic of the week, to dj@moviepop.org, and that's what I primarily check. Damn it, I should have checked your DMs. So, Jordy, damn it, man, you know what? I'll perhaps give me the heads up on the live chat. I can open up Twitter. I can read it live on screen. It won't be beautiful to look at, but yeah, we can do that, dude. I'd be happy to read it because I was kind of sad I don't have any viewer letters. So yeah. All right, guys. Let's see what else we got up in here. Paul and Long Beach says, I'm here to troll you. Oh, yikes. Hey. No worries, man. You know what? I'm glad you are trolling as long as you're doing it in good faith. So troll away, my good sir. Holy crap. We got Gary. Damn it, Gary. He's here. G-Wolf 333. He says, hey, MoviePOP and Tiffany, Paul in Long Beach. And of course, he's just giving shout outs and sexy platitudes. So thank you, man. Glad to have you here, bro. Glad you're here for the broadcast. Jordy does say, hey, you know what? Go ahead and read it. All right, Jordy, you know what? I will go ahead and read it. Guys, we're going to do this after the... How do I normally do this? I do 3 topics, and then I do the viewer letter. So let's do 3 topics, and then I'll read Jordy's review on Gangs of London, which I don't think I've ever heard about that. So, all right. Guys, that is the summary of what was going down between AMC and Universal this week for our first topic. Hopefully I gave you some clarification. It does seem that AMC is outright banning all Universal films from exhibition, provided that they continue with releasing these PVOD releases unilaterally without any negotiations. So yeah. All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic, and this is coming to us from Deadline. Here we go again. Universal. Pete Davidson and Judd Apatow's movie The King of Staten Island is skipping a theatrical release and will be hitting video on demand this summer. So guys, you know Pete Davidson, he's the funny freak from Saturday Night Live, and Judd Apatow, he's the funny, freaky writer who's written some of your favorite Seth Rogen films. Well, they've got a film distributed by Universal Pictures, and it's going straight to VOD. Skipping that theatrical release again, and I presume it was without the blessing of any exhibitors. So The comedy is based on Davidson's life, directed by Apatow and co-written by Davidson, Apatow, and former SNL scribe David Series. Was expected to make its world premiere at South by Southwest in Austin, Texas, with further play at the Tribeca Film Festival in New York City, and both events were canceled because of the coronavirus lockdown. So Apatow, in conversation with Davidson, does say, quote, "They're all into it, so don't tell anyone," and they being Universal. "It's a secret. They're going to do some fancy announcements." Oh, if you call what the announcement they did this week fancy, if not fist-handed or ham-fisted, yeah, I don't know. All right, Deadline says, "We had been hearing whispers of the distribution community that Kings of Staten Island would potentially be moved, but no one was expecting this as another budget comedy bites the dust, at least from a theatrical release standpoint in heading to homes. King of Staten Island follows such movies as My Spy, which is going to Amazon. That's the Dave Bautista film that was scheduled for release. American Pickle, which is headed to HBO Max. Lovebirds, Camille Nanjiani Issa Rae, which is now going to Netflix. That was a Paramount film. And skipping theatrical and heading to streaming. Warner Brothers announced last week that they're seeking to release Scoob directly to PVOD. And I believe, all of these, of course, they had negotiations with their theatrical exhibitors and partners. So it's all above board, unlike the situation we discussed with Universal. So, looks like Universal is really tripling down here, because I know they had some other press release statements regarding their PVOD releases in tandem with this. So, yikes, guys. Hey, you know what? Let me know what your thoughts are here in the live chat. Of course, I'm going to read it. I'm going to comment on it as we go through these topics. This is the best part about the broadcast, is speaking with you guys and having a dialogue here, right? Because it's all this pent-up sexual movie tension we've been building up throughout the week, and I'm just ready to blow. So... let's see what we got here in the live chat. G-Wolf was not saying this to me, but I saw it. He said, RIP South by Southwest. Yeah, dude, sucks, man. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. So third topic here, and then we're going to go to the viewer letter. Of course, I have to cue that up. It's going to be a little janky since I don't have it pre-prepared, but let's go to the guys at IndieWire, because this one's pretty cool, man. It's regarding The Matrix 4 and Lana Wachowski directing The Matrix 4 action herself. No second unit needed. So, Jordy, we spoke about second units directors or second unit crews. If I say anything that is incorrect or not factual, please be sure to hold my feet to the fire here in the live chat, bro. Really appreciate it. We all like to keep it real up in here, and of course, give some good content. So, Matrix stunt worker and John Wick director Chad Stahelski promises the franchise is, quote, coming back with a vengeance. All right. Hello, Mr. Anderson. Hello, Mr. Smith. Lana Wachowski isn't relying on second units when it comes to filming the action sequences in The Matrix 4. It's become increasingly common for major Hollywood productions to use second units to assist with the filming of large-scale action scenes. Such a move is common on Marvel movies, for instance. We spoke about that last time regarding second units and the second units for the CGI side of the films, largely being independent from the director of that film. Okay, so quote here from Stahelski, "What makes Lana so great is she directs her own action. We've had second unit directors on some of the Matrix films just because of the logistics involved, but as of late, and especially on Matrix 4, I don't know why he's talking like this, by the way, but he is. She's directing her own action. The second units for them are mostly establishing shots, the B-sides of some of the compositions for some locations, but Lana, she does her own action. She weaves it into the main unit stuff, which is why their stuff looks so good." Cool. Thanks, Strahinsky. Thank you, sir. Strahinsky? Stramboni. Okay. Let's see here. Stahelski and Leitch worked on the original Matrix trilogy, the former being Leitch, doubling for Keanu Reeves during his action scenes. So that's cool. Both men have become top action directors in Hollywood, and Strahelski, specifically with the John Wick sequels, and Leitch with Atomic Blonde and Hobbs and Shaw. And they told Collider that their involvement with The Matrix 4 was limited to a supervising role. That's pretty cool to hear, I think, right? Because, I mean, Lana Wachowski did a fantastic job on Sense8. If you have not seen yet, which I know, John Campa, you have not seen yet, you're doing yourself a damn disservice, dude, because that's some of the best fight and visual choreography, cinematography I've seen since they made The Matrix. So, yeah. I've got full vote of confidence for Lana Wachowski filming, choreographing, filming, fight sequences, action sequences for The Matrix 4. Strahelski also does continue to say, quote, "It's more about the creative concept of some of the choreography and backing them up with stuff. They asked us to help out with the choreography and some of the physical training for the guys. I'm helping out a little bit for a sequence. I think Dave's helping out for a sequence. Lana's come back with a whole lot of love to have a pseudo-family reunion, so that's been a lot of fun. It's been good to see a lot of the crew members again. We just finished doing a sequence in San Francisco before the pandemic started." And Strahelski does describe The Matrix 4 as being incredibly fun, adding that, "I think if you're a fan of the original trilogy, you're going to love this. It's coming back with a vengeance." Yeah. Guys, you know, I love covering topics about The Matrix, love covering news about The Matrix. I know they were doing some of the principal photography in San Francisco just as early as like 2 months ago before this whole pandemic hit. So sad to hear that, you know, it's been kind of postponed, but good to know we've got some news coming out of the production on that. So, yeah, full vote of confidence on this, guys. My question for you, though, is how do you feel about this? Have you seen Sense8? Do you have a full vote of confidence in Lana Wachowski taking over the responsibilities, I guess, traditionally assigned to a second unit? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below and also in the live chat over yonder. So let's see what we got up in here. Did I miss anything? Nope, nothing highlighted at my name. So you know what? We're going to go over to the... Is this the second or third? This is the third. Okay. So you know what, guys? We got the viewer letter from last week here. We're going to move over to Jordy Line's letter. Guys, bear with me here. I'm going to pull it up on Twitter. I'm also going to take a bite of pizza here because I am starving. Jordy Lyons says he's got something for us to read. So you know what? There's a viewer letter from last week. ASMR. All right, here we go. I think I found Jordy Lyons' letter on Twitter. So let me just finish one more bite. Guys, please, I'm starving. Okay. Sorry. So good. Okay. So, okay. Hold on. Let me wash it down with some Jim Crow. Thank you guys so much for allowing me to take a bite of food here. I'm living in a ghetto apartment in San Francisco, so see, G-Wolf says, I forgot they wear headphones. Jim Crow whiskey. Coon free. All right, guys. Oops. Didn't mean to do that. We're going to move into viewer letters here. So let's get this viewer panel. Here it goes. Let's move it down. Boop, 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 boop. Put that bad boy right there. And you guys are seeing how the cheddar cheese is being made. Sorry. I should have read Jordy's letter beforehand. Oh, boom. There we are. Okay. What have you got to say, Jordy? Jordy Lyons, fantastic moderator, movie insider, working in the film industry himself, from Robert Meyer Burnett's channel. Paul Levy says, San Rafael isn't ghetto, DJ. It kind of is, dude. But no, I know it's really, I'm being facetious here. It's really not ghetto at all. But, I mean, compared to like places I grew up in Southern California, I mean, it's probably just because it's older, right? It's not necessarily ghetto. But I'll tell you, there's no central air conditioning in here. There are no light switches in here. Like, you have to use an actual light stand with the little turn on each individual lamp on. So, you know, for all practical purposes and concerns, it's a bit ghetto. So, all right, guys, let's read Jordy Lyons' letter here for the viewer letters. Let's see here. Jordy Line says, for those of us who grew up on a diet of the Bill EastEnders and the Sweeney, taking modern British crime dramas seriously can be quite a challenge. The same actors, Craig Fairbrass, delivering the same cliched lines in the same Cockney accents. You what? Get it! How's my Cockney? Driving through Peckham in one shot, yet appearing in Islington in the next if you know London. London dramas aren't escapism. They're unconvincing. And more often than not, they don't quite deliver the hard knocks they promise. Thankfully, Gangs of London, while not terribly original, has a bite that matches its bark. Ooh. It's a crime thriller that delivers a high-quality production combined with a convincing cast and, crucially, a script. And that's very true, dude. A script that avoids the obvious while somehow delivering the familiar. The opening is certainly attention-catching. Sean Wallace, as Joe Cole, or the opposite, vice versa, is an emotional, young, suave gangster who we find hanging a tow-rag criminal by his feet from a high-rise building site before setting fire to the petrified lad and dropping his blazing, screaming body to the ground below. Good God. It's stylish, ballsy, and immediately intriguing. Which, of course, is the point. The quote, 7 days earlier, unquote, title card that follows is almost forgivable. Yeah, I know, right? Those are pretty cliched, right? Like 3 days later, or like 2 months ago. Almost unforgivable, or almost forgivable. To quote Rick's Morty, we should probably start our stories where they begin, not where they get interesting. Yeah. But we live in a YouTube society where content makers fear viewers dropping off if an opening isn't strong enough. Very true. What's frustrating about the whole sequence is that what follows is plenty strong enough. A couple of young travelers getting themselves into a situation that results in the death of gangland kingpin, Finn Wallace. Oh, played by Cole Meany. That's, come on, Star Trek Next Generation and Deep Space Nine. O'Brien, right? Chief Engineer O'Brien? Yeah, Cole Meany. Awesome, cool. All right, now you've got my interest piqued, Jordy. Not only does his death lead to the world's longest funeral, Vladimir Lenin. Oh, okay. I think you meant Vladimir, right? Is it? Yeah, okay. Or whatever. We'll go with Vladimir Lenin. I think it's Vladimir. Anyhow, Vladimir Lenin will be buried quicker than Finn Wallace, but also the splintering of relationships between London's chief crime lords. For Finn was the big boss who held it all together, and his son, Sean, is only interested in vengeance. So business is closed until the killers are punished. Fortunately for Sean, a lowly street hood by the name of Elliot Finch, Soap de Risu, could be the answer to getting to the bottom of the mystery. But what exactly is Finch's game, and why is he so obsessed with the Wallace family? I don't know why. With so much going on in the opening episode, so many characters being introduced and killed, it's a testament to the writing room, direction, and editing that the plot is this easy to follow. Very true. You have a very paper-thin, like insultingly stupid plot in the Ghost in the Shell live-action film that was ridiculously hard to follow for various reasons. But true to your point, Jordy, that should not be something that should be lost on viewers upon watching a film. If it's simple to follow, that doesn't happen by accident. Or easy to follow, doesn't happen by accident, right? There's enough betrayal here to compete with Game of Thrones, which figures given that half a dozen cast members are GOT alumni. Oh, wow, okay. Interest further piqued, Jordy. And in amongst the scheming and arguing, we're subjected to a series of gut-wrenching, tooth-smashing fight sequences, including one extended punch-up that makes Old Boy look like that Last Karate Kid sequel nobody saw. Dude, shut the front door. Jordy, are you seriously? Bro, you're making this sound really good. Like, my interest was peaked, and now, like, I'm at, like, Red Rocket boner levels. Are you telling me that fight sequence in Old Boy? And you're right, I haven't seen the Karate Kid sequel, so this is... Damn, dude, your finger's on the pulse, man. This is great. I'm ready to watch this. I think I have to see it. I will see it. All right. The London backdrops are used to good effect. With The Long Good Friday, a bigger influence than anything featuring Detective Burnside, and the gore, of which there is plenty, speaks to a production team that aren't interested in pulling punches. Always a pleasure to know. It's a strong start for a show with top dog potential within the London crime thriller order. All right, guys, that was a fantastic letter from Mr. Jordy Lyons, our moderator here. Fantastic movie insider as well. Dude, Jordy, you've got my nipples hard AF. That sounded amazing, dude. I mean, I'm all joking and kidding aside, like, I'm genuinely interested in this now. Because honestly, I had no idea what the hell you were talking about on the onset of this letter. But you've convinced me, sir. So hopefully you guys watching, you're equally as convinced as Jordy has done for me. So thank you so much for submitting that letter, Jordy. Guys, I'm going to turn it back to you over here in the chat. And of course, for those of you watching after the broadcast, leave me your comments down below. I've got to blaze through these topics. We're on the fourth topic coming up now, so we've got about a half hour left, guys. So yeah. So I do see G Wolf here. He says it's only going to be good if they get D&D for their final. Yeah, fucking right, bro. Guys, if you don't know, he's not talking about Dungeons and Dragons. He's talking about David Benioff and David Weiss, DB Weiss, whatever. Yeah. Well played, sir. Okay, guys. Jordy, dude, thanks for the letter, bro. Thanks for the recommendation. I think the wife and I will be watching that. Right, baby? It's a little delayed. She's in the other room. There we go. All right. All right, raise the roof. Okay, guys. Let's move into our fourth topic. We got one more, and of course, another commercial. I'm working on a new commercial, by the way, requiring a bit more production value than I'm accustomed to working on. So I promise it will be coming within the next month at the latest, but bear with me. Anyhow, fourth topic, guys. Let's move on to it. This one will be coming to us from IndieWire, and it's regarding one of my favorite directors of all time, Christopher Nolan. The Tenet box office. Ooh. Theater owners. Oops, excuse me. Here it goes. Oh, God. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Theater owners predict lower opening. Tremendous word of mouth. The National Association of Theater Owners is coming up with guidelines to ensure moviegoing remains safe should Tenet be allowed to open nationwide in July. Oh, boy. The future of movie theaters could be in Christopher Nolan's hands. As IndieWire reported last week, Warner Brothers is sticking with its July 17th opening for Nolan's, quote, Tenet, and will release the action tentpole as planned if movie theaters across the country are reopened. Here we go again. John Fithian, the CEO of the National Association of Theater Owners, aka NATO, told Variety in a new interview the plan is to have major chains such as AMC and Cinemark up and running by mid-July for the openings of Tenet and Mulan on July 24th. As long as it's safe to do so based on government and CDC guidelines. NATO is in the midst of planning safety measures and guidelines for theaters to use to keep workers and moviegoers safe, which also happens to be a topic and discussion on the broadcast as well, forthcoming. Quote, we've put together a task force of our members as well as experts on health and safety and supply chains, Fithian said. We're planning for how we open up our seating so we can adhere to strict social distancing guidelines. We're encouraging companies to lean in on reserved ticketing and to train their staff to prevent congestion in the lobbies. Members are staggering showtimes, members being theaters, are staggering showtimes so everyone isn't arriving at the multiplex at the same time. We are also considering innovative ways to sell concessions in order to reduce human contact. And we're making sure that employees stay home if they feel sick. Honestly, all this crap sounds freaking amazing. I think they should continue to practice well beyond the whole pandemic has, passed over. Limit my human interaction as much as possible. Great. I don't have to tip you. I don't have to talk to you. I just grab my popcorn, grab my snacks from a robot and go. Making sure, sick employees aren't in the theater is, I think, a non-starter. Awesome. Great. Cool. Okay. Much of the release calendar has been cleared, giving Tenet and Milan the chance to play in theaters without competition for a longer period of time. That's a big part. Fithian said he's not predicting either tentpole has a massive opening, but the new landscape and great word of mouth could yield strong box office returns. Okay, interesting second point as well. Fithian also continued to say, people are going to talk about how impressed they are with how seriously theaters are taking their responsibility to provide a safe environment, a safe space. These films will also have staying power because people will be so sick of being stuck in their houses that they're going to flood to cinemas. The floodgates floodeth open and the moviegoers are ready to ravage your fantastic seating for cinemas. All right, here's one of the big parts I highlighted in red. IndieWire's box office expert, Tom Brueggemann, said as much last week, saying, being the first movie out of the gate would allow for Tenet to play on virtually every screen in the country. So that's obviously something that's unprecedented because as theaters have closed roughly 2 months ago now, naturally, the films they were playing beforehand will not be in rotation, presumably, for the largest part. And with the lack of new releases on the forefront in June or July, most of them being pushed back later into the year or next year, if Tenet and Mulan do hold to their suggested dates, July 14th, July 24th, respectively, they're going to be the only game in town combined with a hungry movie fan base who's just ready to go to the theaters. Yeah, you could see some potential profits, at least approximating what they would have expected in a normal theatrical run. So good news here, guys. I think I like hearing that theaters owners through NATO are developing guidelines to reopen. More on that subject later regarding other states that are open, but I think it's good. We're starting to get a little bit of a road map on like what to do here. So yeah, it's good news. And I'm glad that Christopher Nolan not only is leading the charge here with getting his film released on schedule, but doing everything he can to make sure it's done in a safe way for all exhibitors and all patrons of those exhibition companies. So guys, less about what I have to say about this. Let's talk about this topic because it's really important to me. Opening the theaters, getting back our society, getting back our freedom, and getting back to the movies, damn it. So let's see what we got here in the live chat, of course. Make sure if you want me to read your comment, your question on screen, you highlight my name by saying @MoviePOP before your statement. G Wolf says, it's only going to be good. Nope, sorry. Paul in Long Beach says, life is just like I'm 16 years old again. Gas is cheap and I'm grounded. Yeah, dude, true. That's pretty good, dude. Very true, right? Except we're all a little bit older, a little bit longer in the tooth, and we got hairs growing out of places they weren't growing 10 years ago. Well, I guess down below was a... Anyhow, bad sexual joke. I get what you're saying, dude. I like it. G-Wolf says, well, there should some box office results this weekend. I don't see much happening, though. G-Wolf, what you mean, bro? G-Wolf, let me read it again. G-Wolf says, well, there should some box office results this weekend. I don't see much happening, though. Box office results? What theaters are open? Oh, well, are you talking about the theaters in Texas? Because, yeah, that is one of our topics as well. Yeah, interesting. But you see, with the... I think what box office results, if you're referring to the Texas theaters opening, and I think if some in Georgia as well, what do they have to show? I know in Texas, I think some exhibitors are going to be doing the Trolls World Tour, but beyond that, I mean, they'd have to be past releases. No, and that would only be an incremental add to what they've been doing for streaming in terms of box office. So, yeah, interesting. Let me know if you have any clarifying points on that, G-Wolf. But yeah, It would be interesting to see what they do this weekend. I agree with you. I agree with you, though. I mean, ultimately, I don't see much happening, though. All right, guys. I think we got our fifth topic here before our commercial break. But, okay, G-Wolf does clarify they're going to open today. Got you. Yeah. I thought it was yesterday, but okay. Today. You're in Texas right now. I know that much. So I will defer to your judgment, good sir. And, yeah. Okay, cool. So box office results for, Texas, I think is... we'll talk about that later because I've got it covered here with some other topics as well. So, yeah. I'll see you in Texas soon, by the way. Anyhow, yeah. Fifth topic. Let's move on, guys. This one is coming in to us from Collider. Ooh. Rawson, Marshall Thurber. Rawson. What the hell kind of name is that? Rawson? Hey, guys, my name is Rawson. What the Rawson, Marshall Thurber. In talks to direct Spy vs. Spy movie for WB and Imagine. Ooh. All right, Rawson. A feature adaptation of the long-running Mad Magazine comic strip, Spy vs. Spy, has been in works for nearly a decade. Who would have known? I had no idea. And now Collider has exclusively learned that Rawson, blah, 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 is in talks to direct the live-action movie for Warner Brothers and Imagine Entertainment. Funny enough, Ron Howard and Brian Grazer will produce for Imagine, which had initially developed the project as a potential directing vehicle for Ron Howard. Interesting. With the exception of We're the Millers, Thurber has written every movie he has directed, so it seems safe to assume that he'll do his own pass on Spy vs. Spy as well. For those who didn't grow up reading Mad Magazine, Spy vs. Spy follows two rival spies, Black Spy and White Spy, it's black versus white, who pursue each other in relentless and comical fashion. Cool. When the project was first announced, it was said that Warner Brothers and Imagine were planning a physical and highly visual action comedy, a genre that Thurber has experience with thanks to New Line's Central Intelligence, which paired Dwayne Johnson with Kevin Hart, years before the Jumanji franchise. That film led to Thurber becoming Johnson's go-to guy as they reteamed on the underrated action movie Skyscraper. Was that good, by the way? I didn't bother with it, honestly, but apparently it's underrated, so I might have to check it out. As well as Netflix's upcoming blockbuster, Red Notice. Thurber made a name for himself with his Terry Tate office linebacker shorts. Those led to Thurber making his feature debut with the 2004 comedy Dodgeball, a true underdog story. Well, hot damn. All right, Thurber. All right, Rawson. I think I like you. Maybe you can give it to me raw in the theaters, you know? Dodgeball, which grossed $168 million worldwide on a $20 million budget and launched his career. Boom. Money's in the bank. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 2, 4, 6. So that's like what, 7 to 8 times the production budget, $20 million, $168 million budget worldwide. Yeah, that is a shoo-in. This guy knows what he's doing. And provided the pedigree here, yeah, I'm curious. And really weird IP to pick. I didn't know anybody else knew about Spy vs. Spy. I loved reading that comic strip in Mad Magazine. I loved the little run they had on Mad TV, the animated run. So, cool. Guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Maybe you're too young to even know what Spy vs. Spy is. I know Gary and Paul and Jordy, I think you guys probably have a heads up on that. But any of your younger viewers here, yeah, it's a really funny comic strip. It's cool to see that they're making a movie for it, live action. Very curious. Live action. Did I say live action? Let's go back. Yeah, it's a live action movie. Wow. Surprising. I thought it might have been CG animated or something, or animated. Okay, live action. Interesting. Guys, let me know, of course, your thoughts here in the live chat. And, of course, down in the comments section down below. Let's see what we got here. My wife is telling me, because she's seen more movies than me. This has been a big point of contention amongst us both. Skyscraper wasn't that great. I wouldn't watch it again. Okay, good. That's really great to know that you have somebody who can mirror exactly your thoughts and opinions on like anything. So she can save me. I can literally trust exactly in what she's saying. It wasn't that great. I presumed as much, which is why I didn't say it. But yeah, thank you, baby. G Wolf also says here, yep, I read it a lot back in the old days. And he's referring to Spy versus Spy. Yeah, dude, right? So how interesting is it that, I think, I don't know if Mad Magazine is still in circulation. Mad TV, I know, has been canceled. So interesting to see that there is a desire, or at least a studio vote of confidence in this property from Mad, right? Anyhow, all right. Tiffany is really hammering it down hard there in caps. I've watched more than you. All right, guys, you know what? I think we'll have to put it up to a vote. You probably like seeing her on screen more than me anyways, so she very well may be taking over here. So, thanks, baby. Paul in Long Beach says, welcome to the married life, DJ. Thank you, sir. I'm loving it thus far, so... All right, guys, we're going to take a quick little break here. I'm going to eat this freaking hot, delicious pizza, drink some freaking leak, all that good stuff. I might play the commercial twice, so bear with me. That would mean a total of a 4-minute commercial break. We're going to play our sponsors one last time. Hopefully, I'll have a new one for you next weekend, but here we go again. One more time. You guys, of course, chat amongst yourselves. Let's take a quick commercial break.
Y'all be going on vacation? See, the thing is, if you about to be up out this biatch, check it. Peep Delta. We be flying all over this bitch. Let me ask you something. You finna raise up and get your travel on? From the interior to the exterior. You got to get your posterior in one of these big-ass planes. Dog, you lay in the cut straight sitting on your ass and getting your drink on and your snack on while we floss and fly this mofo all over this bitch. East Coast, West Coast, it don't matter. Nia will get you to your hoe and back lickety-split. No Then you be back at your crib chilling with a flat spliff, thinking we was some crazy-ass angel. Hell, these fat, round, thick-ass vessels run up in the sky so deep, it be crying. Yeah, you thought it was rain. So bring a towel, because at Delta, it's laid out like that. Call one of these fly-ass Delta coochies, and make all them punk-ass co-workers of yours catch the vapors as you be off and up out. You going? We fly you there. You been? We done already flew up in there. We got you covered like a Jimmy hat. At Delta, we loves us some flying, and it be shown like a mother... Y'all be going on vacation? See, the thing is, if you about to be up out this biatch, check it. Peep Delta. We be flying all over this bitch. Let me ask you something. You finna raise up and get your travel on? From the interior to the exterior. You got to get your posterior in one of these big-ass planes. Dog, you lay in the cut straight sitting on your ass and getting your drink on and your snack on while we floss and fly this mofo all over this bitch. East Coast, West Coast, it don't matter. Nia will get you to your hoe and back lickety-split. No Then you be back at your crib chilling with a flat spliff, thinking we was some crazy-ass angel. Hell, these fat, round, thick-ass vessels run up in the sky so deep, it be crying. Yeah, you thought it was rain. So bring a towel, because at Delta, it's laid out like that. Call one of these fly-ass Delta coochies, and make all them punk-ass co-workers of yours catch the vapors as you be off and up out. You going? We fly you there. You been? We done already flew up in there. We got you covered like a Jimmy hat. At Delta, we loves us some flying, and it be shown like a mother...
Okay, guys, thank you so much for indulging me. Not once, not twice. Well, I guess twice. I was going to say thrice, but yeah. Thank you so much. I just needed a little bit of a break here to, eat some food. I want to move into some of the questions here I saw on the live chat. Gary, I know you had some comments there, so let's start with that, and then we're going to move into our sixth topic. and it's all tangentially related. So without further ado, G Wolf says, well, I just checked the local theaters and none are open this weekend, but I'm sure there will be some somewhere. Oh, okay. So he's referring to, the theater openings in Texas, which I think he said was today. Yes. Funny you mentioned that, Gary. We're covering that here in the topic. I will tell you which theaters in Texas are opening. So, he does say, but my city is only about 150,000 people. Which city is that, man? Where you be living? I want to know where you are. I already got your IP address. Just kidding. I don't have it. But, oh, okay. Yeah, he clarifies here. Midland. All right, cool. Thanks for letting us know, man. Appreciate it. All right, guys. So, let's start with the next report here coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Many Americans would return to theaters if new protocols were in place. Yeah, I'm ready to go, baby. Sign me up. Consumers want sanitizing measures and staggered seating, along with White House compliance, a new THR morning consult poll finds. More than half of Americans say they would take a trip to the theater within a month of their respective states meeting White House guidelines for reopening businesses, provided that movie theaters offered staggered seating and sanitize high-traffic areas. That's a darn starter. That's what we should have been doing for a long time now, but I won't get into that. Great. Okay, cool. The survey of 2,200 people was conducted between April 22nd and 26th as a number of states, including Texas, Florida, and Georgia, lift the shelter-in-place orders, even if their locals don't satisfy benchmarks laid out by the White House earlier this month regarding the number of COVID-19 cases. Interesting. The combo of adhering by White House guidelines, sanitizing, and staggered seating resulted in 53% to 51% of those 2,200 people who responded saying that they would likely buy a movie ticket within the first month. So that's 53 to 51% of 2,000 plus pool that you pull from, which is a large enough group to extrapolate a national response. So basically 51 to 53% of Americans said they would be likely to buy a movie ticket within the first month of these measures being put in place to visit a movie theater. So that's good. Consumer confidence is marginally above half. So that's great, provided how early we are into this whole shelter-in-place thing. Americans between the ages of 18 and 29, a demographic that includes the most frequent moviegoers, appears to be the most inclined to return to the cinema across all categories, according to the poll. The current hope in Hollywood is that cinemas will reopen in time for Christopher Nolan's Tenet on July 17th. See how it's all coming back around full circle, guys? I'm doing my damnedest here to make it all relevant, make it all flow together. This is great news. No surprises here that, the youngest amongst our population are the most eager to go back out, and also are the least susceptible to any COVID virus penetrating their buttholes. So yeah, good news. Now I think the next topic here that I'm going to cover, is this one of them? No, I may have missed on that, but I thought maybe we covered it previously. But I know NATO, in a press statement, anyhow, they're working on measures, as I described in this article here, to establish how theater operators, theater exhibitors can best utilize their available resources to make the moviegoing experience as safe and sanitized as possible. So good to know that these measures in place with the White House guidelines, the WHO guidelines, is a vote of confidence for the public. So guys, of course, what are your thoughts here? I know, Paul, you'd like to be nice and sheltered. G Wolf, same as you, man. And that's totally understandable. You can't go wrong being safe, right? So I get it. As I've said many times before, though, I am ready to go right now, dude. I'll wear a freaking trash bag. I'll put on a Donald Trump mask to protect myself from the COVID. And it's all good, just douse some Lysol on that seat, maybe inject a couple Lysol 50cc injections into my body, some UV rays. I'll be good to go, baby. So Anyhow, guys, let me know your thoughts here in the live chat, and of course down in the comments, other way around, but you know what I mean. Yeah, let's see what we got here. Paul says, I'll go, but not into a public Dude, I think that should be par for the course, generally speaking. Dude, you only go to the public restroom for number 1 and number 2 unless you literally cannot hold it. Like, nature is not only knocking and calling, it's like beating down the door, it's foaming out the mouth and just ready to go to town on you. Like, that's the only time you should be in a public restroom, which is all the time for me because I have no bladder control. So, all right. Hey, Paul's got a split. Dude, thank you so much, man. I appreciate you being here. I know we're past the hour. Thank you, man. Have a great rest of your weekend and great rest of your week. We'll see you next weekend, dude. And hopefully I can catch you in Rob's chat if time permits. So thanks, man. G Wolf does say, hey, you know what? Yep, us, sane, old folks don't want to go out for a bit. And you know what, dude? Gary, I mean, you're completely right on that point, dude. Because honestly, the issue with COVID, as the data has come out now, we've sheltered in place for essentially 2 months now. We understand that, yeah, it has a large population infection rate, but in terms of the actual fatality rates, it's like less than 0.5%. And that's more specifically for non-immunocompromised people, which are people who are not, dealing with some sort of infectious disease or some sort of disease in general, or elderly. Just generally healthy people, which tends to be younger people. So yeah, to that point, I get it. If you're in the age range, or if you have any medical conditions, etc. So it makes sense. I understand it. But for all of us young folk who want to get to the films, I think measures should be in place, of course, to limit the spread from the younger to the older population, regardless if you're asymptomatic or not immunocompromised, etc. Yeah, it makes sense just to have sanitized public spaces that we all use en masse, regardless if COVID-19 was in place. So I get it, bro. No worries here, man. I appreciate the comment, dude. All right, guys, let's move into the 7th topic here because we're a bit in the overtime. I'm going to try and breeze through these really quickly. This next one's a little bit of a doozy. It's coming to us from Variety. Did you know the Russo brothers were making a live action, not CGI animated, live action remakes of Hercules? Who would have thought? Interesting. Who would play Hercules? Who do you think would best play Hercules? For some reason, I'm thinking about Brendan Fraser. But I mean, like Brendan Fraser from 20 years ago. That's a total like 90s era casting, right? Who would it be? The Rock? Ooh. Jason Statham? Ooh. Arnold Schwarzenegger? Ooh. Anyhow. Disney is in early development of a live-action remake of its 1997 animated movie, Hercules, with Avengers filmmakers Joe and Anthony Russo producing through their AGBO production company. What the hell kind of name is that? Disney has hired action specialist Steve Callahan to write the Hercules script. Callahan teamed with Sylvester Stallone for the original screenplay for The Expendables. He also has credits on Godzilla, Zombieland Double Tap, as well as the upcoming Wonder Woman 1984, and Disney Marvel's Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. So, pedigree is in place, vote of confidence is instilled. I'm excited now, in combination with the Russo brothers producing, not directing. So, if we're judging the Russos based off their producing credits, it's not as strong of a vote of confidence as I'd like, because 21 Bridges... Is Extraction, was that another one that they did? And then something else, I can't recall off the top of my head, but their production involvement has not garnered the amount of quality that I would have come to expect with their directorial projects, such as what they've done with the MCU. Anyhow, Hercules carried an $85 million budget and generated $252 million at the worldwide box office. That performance, however, lagged behind predecessors such as 1991's Beauty and the Beast, 92's Aladdin, 94's The Lion King, and all of which would become lucrative live-action remakes for Disney. Yeah, this is a little tidbit here. Russo brothers directed Captain America, Winter Soldier, Civil War, Infinity War, Endgame, Endgame, of course, being the highest grossing film of all time with $2.79 billion in global ticket sales. They also won an Emmy Award for Arrested Development, fantastic comedy, and worked on Community, another fantastic comedy I have not seen, honestly. Happy Endings, have not seen, and Deadly Class. So the pedigree seems to be all there for behind-the-screen talent. I'm excited about it. I think you can't go wrong. If it's as good as Aladdin was, I think we're not going to have any issues here. So hopefully it's better than Aladdin, but if it's as good, I think it'd be worth a viewing in screen. So guys, let me know your thoughts here, of course, in the comments and in the live chat over yonder. Here we go. G-Wolf says, it's because the last Hercules did so well. It would be funny if they got The Rock to do it again. Seems that all Disney wants to do nowadays, though, is make remakes. Yeah, I know, dude. It's tiring, honestly. But you know, I think they're in a better position now to do it than any time they had done or had been previously in the past. Like, imagine if they made like live action remakes of their films in the 90s. How horribly dated that would have been, right? Because CGI technology wasn't as developed. You had a lot of practical effects, a lot of sets taking place of the CGI backdrops and landscapes. It would have aged very poorly. So I think now is the proper time for Disney to capitalize on that. But yeah, dude, I agree with you. It's kind of a bit tiring. I mean, as long as our landscape is diverse enough to offset, you know, what would be potentially a sigh-inducing remake, live-action remake of a formerly animated film from Disney. I think, you know, why not? Why not? We got A-list, or at least we had A-list before the lockdown. We could view films, 12 of them a month for $20. So, yeah. All right, guys, for the sake of time, I'm going to move into the next topic here. And this one is coming to us again from IndieWire regarding our boy, Christopher Nolan, who is working harder than anyone to get theaters open, says the IMAX CEO. Okay. Let's see. In case it isn't clear, Christopher Nolan is working overtime to ensure theaters can reopen and the movie exhibition business can come roaring back to life. So basically, I'm going to kind of summarize here for you guys. The CEO of IMAX is kind of talking about some of the pre-production efforts of his staff within IMAX in tandem with Christopher Nolan on this biggest box office film for the summer. Everything they're doing to work on it, as well as getting it distributed through theaters across the country via statements released by John Fithian, who we've covered previously, the CEO of the NATO. Again, this kind of summarizes what we've talked about already. Word of mouth, with a very hungry movie base who wants to see a film in combination with a big blockbuster property like Tenet or Mulan. They think they have a lot of confidence that this film can garner the box office that they would expect, or close to what they could expect from a normal exhibition run. So I'll save time. That's the summary there. You can check out the article, of course, on IndieWire. So thoughts I saw. G-Wolf say he disagrees. 90s CGI Disney movies would be hilarious now. Interesting. 90s CGI Disney movies would be hilarious now. They would. I mean, it depends on what you want from a film, right? Like, have you ever seen the old Captain America, the first one? It was like, I think, oh, dude, that's the one where frickin', who played Nick Fury? Who was it? Oh, God, he played Knight Rider. I've got his face in my head. Oh, he was in Baywatch, too. Knight Rider, Baywatch. Sexy man. Nice angular jaw. He was also in another movie I just saw recently, too. Who? Thank you. David Hasselhoff. Thank you, baby. David Hasselhoff, yeah. He played Nick Fury in one of the original, like, 90s produced Captain America movies. That did not age well. I mean, it's hilarious to watch. You're not wrong, dude. But in terms of cinema that I would want to revisit ad infinitum, yeah, I don't know. But it would be hilarious, bro. You're not wrong about that. All right, guys. I think this is the second to last topic. So let's move on to it. Boom. This is regarding Lovecraft Country. Guys, I'm going to give you the short and skinny on this. Jordan Peele from Get Out and Us teaming up with J.J. Abrams from our favorite Star Trek movies, best Star Trek properties ever made. They're working on a big HBO series called Lovecraft Country, based off the famous author's works, H.P. Lovecraft, which is also, I guess I should say specifically, is based off a book written by who? Who's this written by? Where's the book at? Right here. Where's it at? David Nolan. Is it David Nolan? Anyhow, some dude I've never heard of, and I'm sure you probably never heard of, wrote a book that is referencing H.P. Lovecraftian themes. It was, I guess, a big deal in the novel community. Well, you know what? They're making a nice horror series, guys. And you know what? It looks amazing here. Look at this. It's a horror-based film or series based with a historical context in Black Southern America in the 1950s and 60s. If you guys like what Jordan Peele has done with Get Out, what he's done with Us, if you like J.J. Abrams' television pursuits, which I do actually, I'm a big fan of Lost. I like Alias enough. I think this sounds like it's a fantastic combination of behind the screens talent as well as in front of the camera talent. And, you know, HBO, of course, is always all about quality. So, guys, check out this trailer. Check out this series trailer. It looks amazing. I'm really excited to see it. It's a horror-based, Lovecraftian-themed HBO Max release coming soon. So, do yourself a favor. Check it out. That's some of the news. It's called Lovecraft Country. All right, guys, so the last topic here before we close this bad boy out. Thank you all so much for hanging in there. We're at the final topic here, guys. Hopefully I wrapped it up well enough for you. Trying to keep it interesting here. This one is going to be coming to us from Variety. And, of course, we're going to close it out with Texas movie theaters to reopen with health and temperature checks in place. This is coming from Variety, who says, a handful of movie theaters in San Antonio and Austin, Texas are set to reopen in the coming days, providing an early test case for coronavirus protection measures. EVO Entertainment plans to open 2 theaters on Monday using airport security style check-in, says CEO Mitchell Roberts. Guests will enter a cordoned area near the front door where they will be asked if they are anyone in their household. What the hell? They will be asked if they are anyone in their household have had. Okay, that's not me. That's just bad copywriting. They will be asked if they or anyone in their household have had flu symptoms in the last 14 days. Thanks, Variety. They will also be subjected to an infrared temperature screening with anyone over 100.4 degrees turned away. So even if you're not sick and you're high on meth or cocaine, and your body temperature is skyrocketing, your heart's beating out your chest, dude, you can't watch a film. Sorry. Do your coke once you get inside the theater. Anyhow, I feel like it's really important for our guests to come in and see what we're doing to protect them, Roberts says. The focus is on earning that customer's confidence back. Oh, isn't that sweet? Texas Governor Greg Abbott allowed theaters to reopen beginning on Friday at 25% capacity, as several states around the country have loosened their coronavirus restrictions. In San Antonio, however, Santikos Entertainment will open 3 of its 9 locations on Saturday, making it one of the first operators in the nation to open its doors. The chain will screen Universal's Trolls World Tour, which has been playing at drive-ins and video on demand for $20, as well as several other films like The Hunt that just came out just before the shutdown. Quote, "We're opening more for psychological value than net income," the CEO says. "That's what theaters are for, an escape. We're going to provide that escape." Handren says the employees at the 3 locations of the Palladium, Casablanca, and Cibola theaters are eager to get back to work. Quote, "It's going to be incredibly safe," he says. "We're going to be a finely tuned machine with all the protocols that are required." So cool, guys. I thought that was a nice little tidbit to read here with Texas, amongst other states, reopening their theaters with safety measures and precautions in place so we can get back to doing what we do best, and that's exhibiting films, watching our favorite movies, talking about them here on this channel, on YouTube, on social media, in our own lives, and just adding films that come out into the tapestry of just this chronology of awesome movies we'd like to remember and reminisce upon. So, yeah, cool. Good on you, Texas. Awesome. Cowboys, I'll be seeing you soon. Be ready to watch those films. Guys, I think we're about 15 minutes past the hour here, so seriously, want to thank each and every one of you for being here. It's been great talking to all of you here. I'm really excited to talk to you next week. I hope everything has been working out well for you in your own lives, and this news wrap-up has been of some substantive value to you. So, guys, make sure to follow me on Instagram at MoviePOP Official, on Twitter at RealMoviePop. I'll be engaging with you there, and make sure, of course, you send me a letter for your topic of the week, or your viewer letter like Jordy Lyons did today, preferably to dj@moviepop.org. But you know what? You can hit me up on social media. I'll check those more frequently. Send me a DM to my Twitter at RealMoviePop or Instagram at MoviePop Official for your topic of the week and viewer letter suggestions, and I'll be more than happy to read it on screen. All right, guys, so that wraps up. So hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. We'll see you next week. That's Saturday at 12 noon. And yeah, stay safe, stay sexy. Thanks for finding out what's popping in cinema. Love you guys. Thanks, G-Wolf. Thanks, Jordy. Peace. How do I close this?